If AJ would have had me, he'd been unbeaten now and still the heavyweight champion of the world because I've done my job thoroughly. Because I know my fighter. I know what he can do and what he can't do to the last percent in his body. I'd say, no, that could be a bit tricky for him. No, that could be a bit tricky for him. No, we don't need that. We're heavyweight champion of the world. We'll go this way. We'll go that way. Twist and turn. Be clever. You've got to be cleverer than your man. Or else he gets beat, don't he? And that's why Tyson now, he is where he is. If AJ would have had me.
What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, this is a bad look. I ain't gonna lie to no one. A super duper bad look. Because when you look at, I don't know. Let me be unbiased here. Yeah. To be fair to Fury, he did fight Vlad, but he was a nobody then, so he had to fight Vlad. But he did fight Vlad. He did beat Vlad. He did then duck the rematch, but still, he fought Vlad. I mean, then again, who hasn't, or who in the history of the game has turned down a world title shot before? Their first one. It's almost unheard of. So we can't really give Fury credit for that because, again, he's a nobody. He had to take that. It was a bit like when he was trying to fight David Haye. Fury wasn't on then. You can't really judge a man by what he does when he ain't on yet. Yeah? Judge them when you've got the power. Fury now has the power to make decisions. What is he doing with that power? Fury has the 6, 7, however many stupid, goofy looking ass rings there are. Rings, stones, whatever it is. Ready Rock, whatever you want to call it. Listen, Thanos has 6 Ready Rock on his hand. You got the what? Anyway, listen, Thanos. Fury has the Thanos gauntlet right now. AJ fell off. Wilder, he been beat. I ain't gonna lie, the heavyweight division's looking kind of moist. But either way, unfortunately or fortunately for Fury fans, Fury's on top right now. What is he doing with that power? Yeah, so we can give Fury credit. Okay, he fought Vlad. Okay, he even came back and fought Wilder straight away. No, he didn't. He fought 2 bums, but more or less, he fought 2 bums in like 3 months, and then he fought Wilder. But again, Fury at that point was still pretty much a nobody. Yeah, it fell off. He had 1 good win against Vlad and then fell off. So, he wasn't in a position of power then. He was a taker. He had no other options. At that point, I believe, what year was that? Was that 2018, the first fight? At that point, I think Fury looked at AJ as a more dangerous fight than Wilder. For whatever reason. And I think he thought, if I'm going to risk it with anyone, I'll risk it with a basketball player. Because let's not forget, people, at that time, AJ was looking half dangerous. Do you know, let's be real here. Let's call a spade. He looked half dangerous. Wilder, basketball player. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? Look, at that point in time, at least. So, when Fury's not in a powerful position, he does a half okay job. But like John Fury's just explained, he ain't talking about when Fury doesn't have power. He's saying, we know how to maneuver our man. Because before the Wilder fight, the first one, Fury wasn't in a maneuverable position. Maneuver to do what? He had no belt. Really, he just wasn't well known then either. He had no clout either. No clout, no belt. He a nobody, more or less. Apart from the hardcore boxing fans, Fury wasn't on in 2018. In fact, part of the reason he ran away or walked away or ducked Vlad's rematch after 2015 was because he said, oh, the fans don't appreciate me. No one loved me, kind of thing. One of them ones. One of them corny ones. And John Fury even came out after the win and said, oh, if AJ had just beat Vlad, the Queen would have sent her Rolls Royce to pick him up. They was super salty about AJ. Yeah? So, Fury himself says that he wasn't on yet. Fury himself says that even after winning the title, he wasn't getting the admiration he felt he deserved. That came afterwards in the Wilder trilogy. Or trilogy, yeah. I mean, Fury ain't fought no one else, so it must be the Wilder trilogy that put him on. Because he became champion, which is obviously always a big thing, and then he dealt with Wilder in pretty devastating fashion, both times. Floppy gloves or not. You know, no one's there. Anyway, the relevance of all this is to say that the minute Fury's in power, what's he doing? He's doing exactly what John Fury is saying. Yeah? In 2018 and 2015, Tyson Fury was a price taker. He couldn't tell Vlad. He couldn't play around with Vlad. He had nobody. Even with Wilder. And we know this, or we can prove this. We can prove that Tyson Fury was a sideman or a price taker in the marketplace because he accepted 40% against Wilder. So that, and Wilder wasn't a big commercial name. Do you know what I mean? One of them ones. Yeah, he had a belt, but he wasn't a big commercial name. Fury took the 40% and ran with it. So, listen. The minute Fury got them belts, what has he done since? John Fury, and that's the problem with the chatty patty guys. I've talked about this before. People get mad. Oh, YB, John Fury's a real man. Oh, YB, Andrew Tate's a real man. They talk too much. They'd be doing too much talking, to be real. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Yeah? Just talk too much. Be doing way too... Like women. Oh, YB, you talk too much. Listen. Number one, listen. Talking too much when you're proclaiming to be some bastion of masculinity. That's the issue here. I'm corny. Oops, I said it. You know what I'm saying? Think word out already. I'm corny. I'm a cornball. But I enjoy being a cornball. These guys, if I come on here and say, what it is to be a man. 500 years. 500. I can't do the voice anymore. But if I come on here, I'm 500 years of bare knuckle, this, that, the other. Or Andrew Tate, I've got 10 Lamborghinis and that makes my cock 20 inches long. Do you know what I mean? If I came on here with that would be a contradiction. And that's what these... Just talk. Do way too much of this. Yeah, that's what women are supposed to be doing the talking. Just yapping. I mean, if you're, I don't know, if you ever see your sister or your mum with her friends, it's a madness. Yeah, normally when the lads are together, they're watching the boxing, there's a bit of conversation, but it's not, these guys are, you know, it's hard to get a word in edgeways when it comes to the women. You know, in general, not without making... Listen, it's 2023, man. You can't make too many generalizations. I'm too broke to get my channel got. Just one of them ones. You know what I mean? You got to tread the political thing here. Yeah, obviously, I'm sure there's some chatty patty. Well, there is. That's the thing. Yeah, I've just explained. There is chatty patty men. John Fury. Just talk. Just do too much. Too much, man. Especially for their station. Yeah, what happened to men in positions of relative power? What happened to them being stoic? Yeah, just holding the line, 100%. There ain't no stoic ones. Everyone trying to be a showgirl. Yeah? A showgirl, what's the other one? A pageant girl. Look at me. I'm shining. You know, it's I don't know, it's corny, man. Super corny. But anyway, I forgot how I got onto that topic now. Oh, that's it. John Fury talked too much. And that's why this came out, people. If John Fury was stoic... If John Fury was playing the... what's the word for someone... It's not paternal. Patriarch. I think it's patriarch. Yeah, matriarchs are women. So, if John Fury was playing the patriarch role of the Fury family, yeah, he'd have been holding the line, even if this is the case. Yeah. What do the great strategicians... Listen, man. My English is a bit off-key of 100%. What would the... strategy dons, let's call them strategy dons, fuck it, one of them ones, yeah? What would the great military strategy dons be saying about watching this? They'd be saying, wait a minute, John Fury, why are you giving away your son's game? John Fury ain't even passing other people's game, and this kind of game is detrimental as well. It makes you look bad. Oh, we're going to swerve in and out of all the bad things. Yeah, so again, if John Fury was a stoic patriarch, he'd have held the line. You know what, let me not ramble on about how, look at Tyson Fury's career, look how great it is, because we've, you know what I mean, it's bad, it's a bad look, yeah, bad look. And that's why, if you look throughout history, they say, it's contradictory. Some people say, behind a strong man is a strong woman, but other people say, women will bring down the kingdom, 100%, yeah? Bring it down quickly. And John Fury is effectively a woman. Yeah? And now in today's society, people don't care. People like Simon Jordan will stay, Gareth A. Davis will stay sucking Tyson Fury no matter what. We saw that the other day. So they have, people talk about a mother's love. A mother's love is unconditional. Listen, Gareth A. Davis and Simon Jordan have unconditional love for sucking on Tyson Fury's jeb end. That's just what it is. They love it. It's their favourite thing to do. Yeah? No doubt. So they're going to stay doing that. But in an ideal world, people would hear this and say, wait a minute, let's put 2 and 2 together. I'm not asking anyone to be Einstein here. What are we seeing? What have we been seeing Fury doing? Oh, yeah, AJ. And that's why, yeah, listen, AJ's fell off. There's no doubt about that. Anthony lost his headgear. 100%. His head's gone. Lost his head. Listen, AJ's only gone and lost his head. 100%. So, that's relevant because I'm not in denial here. Yeah? AJ's head is gone. However, we have to give AJ respect. AJ, on the eve of getting his cherry popped by Andy Ruiz, was literally begging Fury and Wilder to sign the fight. AJ, despite having 3 belts, despite having all the clout, said, I'll accept 50-50. And then he got his cherry popped by Ruiz. And obviously it kind of went downhill from there. But AJ's been trying to fight the best. Yeah? Well, some people would say, well, he ain't really trying to fight the best. He's trying to get paid to fight the best. But whatever. Listen, Fury could get paid. Fact of the matter is, yeah, Fury's highest payday is to fight Usyk. He could have had that one. Yeah? That could have happened. So it's not about the money for Fury. And that's what this shows too. AJ might be a money chaser, but he also taking risk as well. Risk on a risk-adjusted basis, AJ's career is better than Fury's. Because he tried to fight Wilder. Wilder didn't want it. There's several occasions. Wilder turned down record money not to fight AJ. Facts. At the time, at the peak of their careers, at the peak of both of their careers. That's just what happened. And again, this show, look at Wilder and Fury himself. Wilder turned down astronomical money to fight AJ. Before the Saudis came in, don't forget people. DAZN was offering Wilder $120 million, $140 million before the Saudis were even a bit in the mix. And then you got Fury now offered $100 million to fight Usyk. My point, why is it Wilder and Fury were prepared to fight each other for relative peanuts? I reckon both men probably got paid 10 mil. Even, you know what, for argument's sake, let's call it 20 mil. Both men got paid 20 mil. You know what, F it, let's call it 30 mil. Both men got paid 30 mil, which they definitely didn't. Yeah? Both men got paid 30 mil for each of them fights on average, let's call it. Fury fixing to make 100 mil a pop. Or even if it's double. So why is it Wilder turned down 140 mil, 120 mil against AJ, and Fury turned down X amount of millions against Usyk just recently? Because it's about doing what John Fury, Mr. Chatty Patty, is talking about here. And I believe it was almost like the stars aligning. The only reason Fury and Wilder happened is because both men thought there was something sweet there. Because both men had the opportunity to fight AJ for much more money. But Wilder thought, okay, Fury's coming off a layoff. This will be an easy win for my legacy kind of thing. That's what Wilder's calculation was. I'll be able to pick up an easy W. They weren't thinking about the money. They were thinking about the risk of the opportunity. Yeah? Because if it was about the money, the Usyk fight would have been done, and the AJ versus Wilder fight would have been done. Now, again, even Fury's point of view, Fury saw the Wilder fight as relatively easier because the AJ fight was there. It's been there. That's just what happened. AJ was begging for that fight ever since Fury said he's back in the mix. And it was much more money on the table. I remember, in fact, when Fury first came back, as he was fighting Safiri and Panini, I think, what's the guy's name? It was called Sefa Bamura. Sefa, let's see about him 100%. There was some bum Donny called Sefa and some other Don called something Panini. Yeah? Fury, and I'm going to remind people of this, yeah? Because some of you, man, obviously forgotten. Don't blame me, but listen. Fury fought Sefa Safiri. Sefa Bumfoot. I don't know, I can't do that one, but listen. He fought him and he fought Panini. After fighting them, around that time, Eddie Hearn sent an offer to Tyson Fury and said, I'm going to give you a free fight deal. Tony Bellend, I think it was Dillian White, and then AJ. And you can bet your bottom dollar Fury would make him more in... Even in the Bellend fight, he'd have got paid more than the first Wilder fight. Facts. And Fury said, what did he say? Manoeuvring. And Eddie Hearn at that time said, Fury isn't... I can't put Fury on fighting Sefa Safiri for the money he wants. If Fury wants to come back, he can fight a cruiserweight, Dillian Whyte and AJ. He didn't want it. And he chose to fight two bums and then Wilder. As history stands, it played out for Fury, but that's not the point, people. Things playing out, coming back strategically and beat Wilder, who's a basketball player, and whatever else. That's not the point here. It reinforces exactly what John Fury is saying. Fury's picked his plays. And both Wilder and Fury have picked their plays. Neither man has really gone out there and said, I'm going to fight the hardest fights out there. AJ has. And yet he fell off, but I mean, I think that's the thing. That's what's sad, and I keep saying this, but that's what's sad about Fury's legacy. He spends so much time inactive. But when he does fight, I think there's no reason there's no reason Fury couldn't have had the same legacy as AJ in that sense. Well, not legacy. Because, again, I don't rate the people AJ's beat. But the fact of the matter is, AJ took them on back to back, no questions asked. You don't see that same thing with Fury. You just don't see it. You see picking and prodding. So we have to respect AJ for the willingness to go in there. Bums on, or no good or not. Sorry. AJ's opponents aren't no good. They was more or less the next best option. But we're in a weak era, an old era. The Povetkins, the Pulevs, the Takams, they were more or less the best around, but no good. The B-level fighters at best. On a scale of A star to C, or on a scale of A star to E, they are B and C level fighters in my opinion. And especially adjusted for their age. In fact, all of them are Vlad's leftovers. And Vlad was 10 years before that, so it's like, mad. But still, we can't sit here and judge that. AJ went in there and took the next to best available opponent. Mandatory positions. Defended the belts for how many years? 3-4 years? Back to back. What does Fury do? Beats Wilder once. Has 18 months off. Tries to run from Wilder rematch. Beats Wilder again. And then fights Chisora 2 years later. And then talks about how he's got a fight announcement coming 6 months. Or for the last 6 months. This is that strategic playing. That's why he's talking about fighting UFC fighters. Because strategically, well, it makes a whole bunch of money. And nothing else, no risk. Low risk. The Chisora fight, shocking. We know for a fact, for example, people can say, AJ wasn't fighting the best. Okay, when AJ fought Povetkin, who at that time was more deserving? You can take Wilder out, you can take Fury out, because they've been had offers. Yeah? There was no one, there wasn't anyone. He beat Parker, who was a champion. He beat Vlad, who was old, but still half decent. He beat Charles Martin. And people can say things, but AJ picked up Fury's belts out the bin. No one asked Fury to lose his head. Yeah? No one asked him to go and do that. And that's another thing that the Fury's got bitter about. AJ's took my belts out the bin. Well, you lost your head. You know what I mean? You fell off. Fury fell off and lost his head. And he mad at AJ about that. It's weird. And he didn't want to do anything about it. Fury could have come back and said, listen, you took my belts out the bin. Never mind Wilder, the basketball player. I'll get to him later. I want you big bodybuilder. He didn't know. The offer was there. And that would have been I've got to be honest here, that would have been a great run for Fury. Looking back in 2018, if Fury had to come back to Bellend, Dillian Whyte and AJ and beat them all, that's when we start talking about, you know what, man, this guy's serious. He really would have shits. Instead, he come back, Sefer Safiri, the basketball player. It took him about 5 years to get the basketball player trilogy out of the way. Literally. Well, not 5 years, 3 years. It took him 3 years to have 3 fights. Well, more than that, because the preparation, it was like 3.5 years. It took 3.5 years to have 3 fights with Wilder. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, the last one was a good fight. Even the second one was a good fight. But still. And people say, YB, you chop and change. I was shilling Fury after that. In fact, I was telling people Fury's going to deal with Wilder in the second fight. Going to put it on him, walk him down. And that's why part of the reason I thought that AJ would beat Wilder. I knew for a fact Wilder has got no inside game. He don't know what to do on the inside. Apart from put his earmuffs on. Fury went in there, put it on Wilder. And I was backing Fury for that second Wilder fight. But you have to remember here of the context. The context is, Fury's beat Wilder now. Now he's going to go on a run. He don't go on a run. Yeah? And as soon as I was on the bandwagon for Fury, I was off again. Because within 6 months, it came out, the WBC, even though it was C19 going on, yeah, it was possible to make fights. UFC had been done that one. The UFC were been making that one. And what did Fury do 6 months after beating Wilder? I'm not fighting him. I'm not going to oblige the rematch clause, which he signed. I'm going to court. And then it was a whole saga of, I'm fighting AJ. That flopped. It just turns anyone with a rational brain off. Anyway. The matriarch of the family, Josephine Fury, let slip here. The Fury strategy. They ain't trying to make no real legacy. They're trying to nick a legacy. Yeah? Ooh, I'll beat a few tactical fights here. Beat one here and there. Because really, in the whole of Fury's career, and it just shows. Yeah? Listen, they are tactical. Fury didn't want to rematch Vlad. He didn't want to do it. He didn't. That's why he didn't do it. If someone wants to do something, they want to do it. He didn't want to do it. He didn't fancy it. Yeah? Fury didn't want to rematch Wilder, and he got forced to by the courts. Do you understand, people? That is strategic. Fury realised after the second fight, you know what? I've probably done the best job I can do, and it is true. That Fury versus Wilder 2 was the best job he could do. Because the third fight was much closer, in that sense. Or a lot more antsy. Fury knew, you know what, I'm better off going out with that one. And I think that's how he felt in the Vlad fight. You know what, I probably done my best there. Vlad, and I believe the same. I would like to have seen the rematch. I don't believe Vlad, well, he might have done. But still, I think there are good chances that Vlad could only get better from that performance. He knows what's coming this time. I can't believe he's going to get worse. No, Fury fans may say, Fury has found his range, and that's the whole point, people. That's why we need to see it. Do you know what I mean? Like, same as the Wilder situation. When Wilder got smoked in the first fight, I want to see how champions come back. Have they got it or not? It's no good nicking a win and then running off. That don't do it for me at all. That's the same reason. Now there is times rematch clauses don't make sense, but not in these kind of fights. Crawford versus Spence absolutely needs a rematch. I don't care how it goes, because either way you look at it, if Spence blows Crawford's back out, I want to see how Crawford going to come back. If Crawford blow out Spence back, I want to see how he's going to come back. If it's a close fight, I want to see it again. You know, it's a win-win. And even if it's a boring fight where it's kind of like, I don't see that happening. I don't. But even if it's a boring fight where someone's just doing a Floyd Mayweather, even then I want to see, can they come back and make adjustments? And the Fury and Usyk fight, the Wilder fight, any of these top tier fights, I believe there must be rematches. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, people. Smash the like button, subscribe, and like on to 100% no doubt about this.